Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for having this important hearing. You know, I guess we can add to our list of failed energy policy, failed border policy, failed foreign policy, failed fiscal policy, and now a failed trade policy. It's kind of sad to see what's going on. I think we all know here today, this has been a very lengthy meeting, and we thank all of you all for being here and being experts in your respective areas. We all know here today that trade is essential to our supply chain, and it strengthens our relationships and with essential allies like Taiwan. And our job in Congress, as has been duly noted, and on this committee especially, is to develop trade initiatives that fortify our supply chains and address the market barriers that impede our exports. The Biden administration has neglected our trade relationships at a time when aggressive vigilance for opportunities in this global marketplace should have been a priority. My home state of Oklahoma ranks number 9 in imports from Taiwan. We've recently seen significant trade of aerospace parts, nuclear reactors, and electrical machinery from Taiwan. In the future, I would like to see Oklahoma's trade relationship with Taiwan grow in these and other industries. USTR has discussed the issue of longstanding Taiwanese barriers facing U.S. companies. These include market barriers of U.S. beef producers. Oklahoma ranks number 2 behind my dear friends from Texas. I don't say that often, but when it comes to this, we're lockstep together, strengthening our relationship with Taiwan and working through these market access barriers could increase exports to Taiwan, leading to more growth and boosting economic activity in Oklahoma. The Biden administration's cautious approach to trade initiatives is very concerning to all, and we're listening to great testimony on that today. We need a trade agenda that will provide certainty that future agreements create new export opportunities where U.S. businesses and workers benefit. This administration has made no effort to work towards reviving a bipartisan trade promotion authority that expired in July of last year. Without TPA, America leaves a vacuum in the international marketplace that China is willing and all more than happy to take advantage of. All free trade agreements have been approved and implemented through TPA. It would be a mistake for the administration to turn a blind eye to TPA while the international marketplace is manipulated by our allies and competitors solely for their own priorities. TPA supports U.S. job growth, exports of made-in-America products, and better trade agreements that make the U.S. more competitive globally. Ms. Glasser, you have done a great job today in your testimony, and you've also said that you have recommended the enactment of the Trade Promotion Authority legislation. As you know, the Trade Promotion Authority has expired, as we just talked about. Can you speak about your recommendation in the past and why the TPA is very important for the United States and our trading partners?
So, Congressman, I'm not a trade expert. There are others on this panel that will do a far better job than I will. But yes, I do believe that Congress should have TPA, that it will enhance our ability to negotiate good trade agreements with other countries around the world.
And it's got to be shocking to you, whether you're an expert or not, it's got to be shocking to you that we haven't done anything in this area for over a year now, when we're sitting here and the administration's blaming the supply chain itself for the inflation issues and not the fiscal policy. Mr. Benning, my dear friend from Texas, I know a lot of folks have stressed the importance of TPA today, but can you go into detail why an aggressive, ambitious trade agenda is important to maintaining a global market share, and how at risk are we of losing these global market shares to our competitors?
I guess the best way I can summarize it is customers want a reliable source. It doesn't really make any difference what you're buying, right? It can be widgets, it can be ag products, it can be whatever. You want a reliable source. When and there's other folks, China's been mentioned a lot, but there's other very important ag producers in this world, whether it be Brazil or Argentina, our folks at the European Union. When we lose those markets, and we lose some of those, I believe, when we're not aggressive, it takes years to get those markets back. Many years often to get those markets back. So those of us in the ag community are very much in favor of TPA, very much in favor of an aggressive trade policy.
As I mentioned, beef is very important to both of us. Are there any tax incentives related to the ag industry that Congress should focus on and reforming to encourage trade relations?
You know, we've thought about that a little bit, but as far as tax incentives, we go back to the same thing that was mentioned earlier, tariffs. Tariff is a tax. We sit down and eliminate those, and then that eliminates a tax.